Record. Okay. So yesterday, oh, and I also need to actually connect. Better. All right. Come on. There we go. So we completed that seed function. We researched the best way to use .env with multiple test files, and we landed on using this -r .env config here. And then we started to implement mocha.opts, and that's where we left off. And the reason I wanted to do mocha.opts is it makes the package .json file just a little bit more readable, a little bit less cluttered. So let's continue looking at the mocha.opts. Okay, so back on the server, Mocha will attempt to load .test/mocha.ops as a configuration file. And right, because we are going to be running this from the top level, it's actually going to be, oh no, we ended up moving test to the top level so that we could, so let's cd into test. Okay, and so here now, if we do mocha, and we're doing mocha, so now it's actually just mocha test because we moved test out of the source folder. Okay, so now let's look at that mocha.opt, and all right, so those are the ops that we're using.
Yeah, they use this one so long.
Yeah.
Oh, if you add that in your own mocha, it runs those.
Yeah, it uses these, yeah, exactly. It uses these flags.
Nice.
Yeah, theoretically. Let's see how it goes. So let's just do an npm test and see what happens. Okay. So let's see what actually happened. So first of all, let's see, could not find module ... Oh, because we moved the tests, test folder, all of the relative paths are not going to be correct. So let's go into, let's see, so db reset. So now it's just going to be one ... No. It's going to be ... /source. No. Let's see. Okay, so this is a nice thing about code. If I do a ... Oh, you're not going to show me? You do on my other computer. It shows me like what you can do. Oh yeah, there we go. ... /source /db. Okay, good. Okay, so, and then let's look what else we have in tests. We have this user out. We don't have anything, excuse me, in there. Okay, so let's try again. Oh, but excuse me, notice that it's running the reset DB as a, okay, all right, so that's great. But it's running the reset DB, and we actually, that's like a helper file. We don't actually want it to use that. So let's see if there's a way we can exclude certain directories from the recursive. So I'll do my favorite. And nope, apparently not. Okay, so let's do my second favorite. Okay, that's 2015. Oh, people hated that one. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm not interested in going through the whole journey. Let's just see. Let's just see. Wow, it was quite a journey it was. Add -- exclude option. Oh, check us out. So it might not even be available yet. All right. Well, let's see what happens if we add it to our ops file. Oops. And I want to exclude utilities, like everything that's in my utilities folder. And let's just to see whether things are running, let's just do a console log. So it did not actually exclude. So let's see, let's go back here. And so 16 days ago, made some commits, committed. Requested changes 14 days ago, great work. Man, like between the bone skull and this picture, like this is really freaking me out, but okay. Changes requested, all checks have passed. Okay, but it's not merged yet. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna leave it in there, hoping that it's gonna get merged at some point. It's actually not a problem if it runs this, it's just unnecessary. So let's, okay, so let's put this in our notes, just because this is that's a good place for it. So okay, so February 2nd. All right, cool. So, all right, I think we're actually ready to start our first test. So exciting. Okay, I know. I'm surprised the celebration is this this muted. Okay, so so let's go. We have our user actions. All right, so we're going to have to import chai, right? So, and then I'm going to want my reset DB here so that I can reset my DB every time. So yeah. Okay, so it should add a new user. No, we have to do describes first. Okay. And we'll do a before each. And our before each, we will just do, so we're going to, we'll do a reset DB dot then, and now we're going to have to do our adding user function. Problem, we don't have an adding user function. So let's make one. So in actions, I don't think I have anything in actions right now. Let's look. Yep, nothing. So let's touch add user. All right. What is add user going to need? What do we need to require here? Where am I? Okay, so we have to go up one to source, then down one to DB. Oops. Oh, no, actually just up one, right, yeah, and then DB. Okay, and see, now I forget. This is one reason to always just export an object, so you don't have to remember whether you exported an object or not, right? Because if I always just did this, then I wouldn't have to think about it or check. But
okay. You always leave like room to make the dog talk. I'm sorry, I was just looking at it.
okay, yeah. Well, also there was mirth that went beyond whether or not we made this an object back there. Okay, so all right. So now let's go back to add user. All right, and let's do. Okay. I'm just being really inconsistent and using all sorts of different ways of doing things. But have you seen this before? Okay. So basically, I'm just exporting a function that I'm not even bothering to name. Okay. And okay. So this function is going to add the user, but I actually think because I guess I could do a JS doc here. But that would be, I don't know, just be a little weird. But so I'm going to actually do.
So this is like similar to like the newer like export default syntax.
In some ways, yeah, yeah. Okay. Right. So what is this? All right. So let's remember what this function is going to do. So this function is actually going to add a user to the database. So what do we need in order to add a user to the database? Let's look at our schema. So the ID will get taken care of. We need a name, an email, a password. We do not need joined at, and we need a primary city. Should we, I think let's leave the user image URL till later. Okay. So, all right, so we need name, email, password, user, let's see, and then what was the other one? Primary city? All right, and so now let's just actually return db query and okay, so this is just my shell of a function so that I can test. Okay.
I just wanted to ask the reason for doing db.query instead of one.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can do a db.1. That's fine. No real reason.
Yeah, because I think query returns an array, so it gets like.
Okay. Okay, good thinking ahead. All right, so we're going to reset, and now we're going to have to import that. So const, and again, see now, like this one, I'm not exporting, but let's say for my rule is going to be for my actions, I'm going to have one action per file. So I'm never going to export an object. Okay, so const add user require wasn't there? Oh, you didn't like my dot actions source. Oh no, actions. Oh no. Now I'm in my test file. Okay. Source, actions, addUser. Okay, cool. So then addUser. And I want to return this. So I could either type that return explicitly, or I could take these parentheses off and have an implicit return. I know Airbnb does, like if it's like this, Airbnb would complain, but I kind of find this more explicit. Anyway, whatever, I'll leave it like this for now, since I haven't yet integrated Airbnb with my VS Code. Okay, so it should add a new user. So actually, what kind of tests do I want to do here?
You about to say something.
Say that again? Yeah, it is. It's definitely a unit test because I'm testing a function and not how things work together. What things do I want to test? If a row was added to the database, how can I do that? And when we add a user, the table should have one row. I'm also seeding the database though. And right now I'm seeding the database with only one user, but in the future I might need to seed the database with 2 users. So I don't want to count on anything, that I'm sort of assuming, right? What are you thinking, Celeste? Okay. So now, yeah, we might think about the function. I think I want. So actually, I'm gonna I want it to give me all of that without having to type it out. So string returns. What is this? What data type is this going to return? Promise. And I'm going to have this promise resolve to, we could have it resolved to the row, or we could have it resolved to the ID. What do you think? The row? Representing the okay. All right, so fine. So this is going to be well, right. So this is going to have a returning star. All right, fine. So, okay. So I'm going to make a bunch of tests here. I'm going to say it creates a new user ID. And I'll say expect. Oh. All right. And now I actually want to have access to this user from in here. How do I do that? How do I do it? Make a variable. Make a variable up here. And now I'm going to say, and I'm going to say addUser. No, actually, I don't have to do that. I can say dot then. Why is that addUser all squiggled? Well, I'm going to, okay, so then. Okay, so what have I done here? Yeah, so I'm saving it to this new user, and because this new user is scoped up here, I can now use it down here. This is similar to what we were doing with the seeding.
Don't you have to pass parameters of addUser?
Well, then requires a function. addUser is a function. Let's see why it's giving me the red squiggles. Argument of type is not assignable. Okay, so it's just getting a little upset because the signature of this particular function doesn't match its like weird. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not concerned about this. Basically, this function is not matching what it thinks a function should be, but I'm gonna ignore that. But it is a function. Here I'm passing an unnamed function. Here I'm passing a named function.
Right, but I'm just, so don't we have to give addUser a name, email, password, and primary city?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, James, and thank you for being patient with me, like basically lady-splaining to you what you already knew. So, okay. All right, so
Oh, I thought ResetDB gave it something. That's why I was like.
Oh no, no, it does not.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. What was the other thing? Primary city. Okay. All right. So now we can say name, email, password, primary city. All right. Now we can say expect new user dot ID to be a number. Can you do that? Is that how we do it? Well, we'll see. Okay. And then, so what else do we want to test? Yeah, so it adds the name to the database. Expect new user.name to equal name, and I can use that because I scoped that outside the before each. This one is tricky. So I'm actually going to comment this one out for now and wait until we've done password encryption. It adds the email. It adds the primary city. Okay. All right, so we should have all of these tests failing right now. Okay, let's try it. Okay, invalid query format. Okay, so basically, how do you get it to run all the tests even if one fails? I mean, I sort of thought it did that by default, but there it's just like, it's just falling over. But maybe it's because it was in the before each that it fell over. I'm not sure. Okay, so it hates. Okay, all right. Let's go back to my addUser and let's just do a select now. Just give it a valid query that isn't going to give us what we want. There we go. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So they're all failing, and it's because those properties don't exist on the returned object, which is fine. Okay. So now let's actually go into the user, go into addUser, and let's add everything but the password, and we'll deal with the password in a minute. Okay, so let's do, the query should be insert into users, name, email. We'll just do the plain text password for now. Password, primary, city. And we'll do values. I'm gonna try something. I'm not sure whether or not this is gonna work. What is my second argument gonna be? And I think args gives me, or sorry, that's Python. Arguments. I think arguments is an object containing all of those. Right? It's just going to take this. The expressions on your faces are just like, everybody's got a different reaction to it. Let's actually see what happens. No, property name doesn't exist. Really? Oh, so now I'm going to show you. So I have, when I do Command KL, with my cursor on a word, it does this for me. So let's actually just see what that is. I have that set up. I can show you how I set it up. I did a key binding for that, but because who doesn't do console logs all the time? Oh, they're not named. Bummer. But interesting, 0, 1, 2, 3. Huh. Oh, well, okay. If you were Python, you could do what I wanted. Why can't you be more like your brother Python? And this will just Not nearly as elegant, but. Nice. All right. Cool. So let's okay. And let's do all right, so what should we do next? In my view, we have two options. We can either do more actions or we can deal with the password encryption. I'm leaning toward dealing with the password encryption while it's on my mind. Let's look. Where are we going to put our password encryption? Where are we going to put our password encryption functions? What's that? In a utilities file? Okay, that's what I would do. So let's actually make a utilities directory. It totally is. There's too many I's and T's and they're all right. All right. So here's password.js. What do we need? I think we already installed it. Otherwise, it would be mad at me. Okay. Anything else? What? It's not. It's mad at me for require because I haven't dealt with that yet. I'll have to deal with that later. I still haven't really completed my VS Code sort of environment. You know, I still haven't bent VS Code entirely to how I want it to behave. You'll notice that in my in here too, it like complained about the its and the before each and the describe. Okay, so what function or functions do I want? Okay. Do I want to put any other functions in here? And I'm going to say compare password or password. What's the advantage of putting the trailing comma here? The linter doesn't yell at you. That is always a huge advantage. What's another advantage? You can always add or remove one. And if you are dealing with a large project where you want the differences between commits to be as clean as possible, if I do this and I save it and I commit it, and then I do this, how many lines have I changed? 2. But if I do this and then, well, wait, hold on. I was being so dramatic. If I do this and then commit it, and then I do this, really, you don't respond to that, but whatever. And then I add another one, then I've only changed 1 line. Cleaner. Yeah. Ah, yes, totally true. You can change the order without having to deal with one having a comma and, you know, having to put a comma in. Yeah, another good advantage. Okay. All right, encrypt password. So this certainly is going to have to take a password. Does it need anything else? Ah, the bcrypt documentation. I'm glad you didn't say we need to look up somewhere where we did this before, because that is impossible as far as testing goes. So. Wow, they care more about submitting bugs and issues than they do actually telling us how to use it. Let's try it again. No, thank you for correcting my spelling. Okay. There's a promise version. There's not on a beautiful site. So this guy's stuck in 2015. All right. What? Oh, interesting. Namibian pajama merchant. Oh, that's the NPM, right? They do a silly. Okay. Have people been using bcrypt promise instead of bcrypt? You use just bcrypt, and you can use promises with just bcrypt? Okay. All right, let's is what wigging out? No, I clearly know very little about bcrypt. And so I'm asking sincere questions about usage. All right, so install usage, async, recommended, not bacon. Okay. Gen salt, but these are okay. So these are callbacks with promises. Okay, so I should have just been patient and scrolled down rather than gotten impatient with the bug. Celeste is like, yeah, Bonnie. Okay, all right. So bcrypt hash dot then. Okay, so let's just. Okay, what is salt rounds? What is salt rounds in conceptually?
How many times? I don't know exactly what it does, but it's like the encryption thing. Like how many times it starts with a salt and then does a thing a bunch of times to exchange it. and the salt rounds, it does it 2 to the power of the salt rounds.
Okay, so what do you generally put in salt rounds? 2 to the 10th. We like that. Okay. Okay, now it says store your password in DB, and it just gives you the hash. So we just store that hash in our database. Okay. In this case, we're just going to return that hash. So I'm actually going to just return this, right? Because we don't want to store it in the database here. We're just generating an encrypted password. And in fact, this thing is so simple that if I were to test it, I would basically just be testing the bcrypt hash function. And so I'm actually going to leave this untested. I don't believe it's something I need to test. So, so the parameter is going to be a string. And what is it going to return? Promise. So it's going to resolve to a string, if I understand bcrypt properly. Okay, so cool. So let's actually now go back to our user actions. Oh no, this is testing. Let's go to addUser, and now let's do const encrypt. What did I call it? Encrypt password. All right, and now where is it? / utilities. This, yeah, this is like, I love this, password. And now, instead of password, we'll say encrypt password dot then hashed password and we'll do hashed password here instead. Are you with me? So I'm just creating the hashed password and entering that into the database instead. Okay. And now, why? Only 30 seconds. So tomorrow or Tuesday, what we'll do is, well, let's actually, okay, we can do it. Okay. So here now, I want to say it adds the encrypted password to the database. And here I'm going to say const encrypt password okay, and now we're going to expect to equal encrypt password. Nope, we can't do that. Sorry, we have to, because this is here. And really important, we have to return this, right? So no, it's 10 o'clock. Okay, wait, hold on. We're just going to, 5 more minutes, Mom. Okay. Wow, you're like really upset with me. Oh, enter password. Okay. Oh. Right, we are. So, okay. Okay, so cool. Everybody please go to check-in, and I will, I'll have